Have you ever heard of a leader who ruled for just one day? Think about it. Just one day in office. What happened? Why was their reign so short? Was it chaos? Betrayal? Or perhaps simply a quirk of fate? Today, we dive into the fascinating story of David Rice Atchison, a man whose brief, almost mythical, tenure as President of the United States has puzzled and intrigued historians for decades. Get ready to uncover a tale like no other, a tale of ambition, confusion, and an unexpected turn of events. Along the way, we'll explore the quirks of U.S. democracy and reflect on what defines true leadership in moments of uncertainty. The mid-19th century was a time of political upheaval and evolving democratic processes in the United States. The election of 1844 saw James K. Polk defeat Henry Clay for the presidency. Polk, known for his ambitious agenda of territorial expansion, had one defining promise. He would serve only one term. This pledge set the stage for a wide-open race in 1848. The political landscape at the time was dominated by two main parties: the Democrats, who supported expansion and states' rights, and the Whigs, who were skeptical of territorial annexation and sought to limit executive power. Into this fray stepped Zachary Taylor, a war hero celebrated for his victories during the Mexican-American War. Taylor was an unlikely candidate. A political outsider, he had never voted in a presidential election, claiming neutrality in political matters. This made him a wild card. Both parties sought to recruit him, recognizing his immense popularity among the public. However, Taylor's self-professed leanings, had he voted in 1844, he admitted he would have supported Henry Clay, ultimately nudged him toward the Whigs. Yet, Taylor's candidacy wasn't without drama. When the Whigs officially nominated him, they sent a letter to his Louisiana home informing him of their decision. Weeks passed without a reply. Panic ensued within the party. Had Taylor changed his mind? As it turned out, the delay stemmed from an entirely mundane reason. Taylor had instructed his local postmaster not to accept postage-due mail. The nomination letter, unpaid for, sat undelivered until Taylor personally retrieved it. This amusing episode highlighted the quirks of a candidate who was as unconventional as he was celebrated. By the time the 1848 election rolled around, Taylor's broad appeal carried him to victory over Democrat Lewis Cass and former President Martin Van Buren, who was running under the Free Soil Party banner. Taylor's win set the stage for what should have been a seamless transfer of power, but fate had other plans. Traditionally, U.S. presidents were inaugurated on March 4th, the day the federal government officially began operations under the Constitution in 1789. However, in 1849, March 4th fell on a Sunday. Deeply religious, Zachary Taylor refused to take the oath of office on the Sabbath. His inauguration was postponed to noon on Monday, March 5th. This decision created a constitutional gray area. James K. Polk's term expired at noon on March 4th, leaving a 24-hour gap before Taylor's swearing in. Who was president during this interval? The answer, according to some interpretations, was David Rice Atchison, the president pro tempore of the Senate. David Rice Atchison, the man at the center. David Rice Atchison was a Missouri senator and a staunch Democrat. As president pro tempore, he was next in line for the presidency after the vice president. The unusual circumstances of March 4th thrust him into the spotlight, but Atchison himself dismissed the idea of his brief presidency. In a moment of humor, he famously remarked, "If I was president for one day, I must have been the most honest and efficient president ever, because I slept through my entire term." Atchison's story is as much a reflection of the times as it is a historical curiosity. The Constitution, while groundbreaking, was not designed to account for such unusual scenarios. It lacked clarity on what should happen when a president's term expired before their successor took office. This ambiguity made Atchison's claim possible. While Atchison technically held the highest office in the land for 24 hours, he neither sought the title nor performed any presidential duties. Exhausted from presiding over the Senate during its final marathon session, Atchison reportedly spent most of March 4th asleep. There were no meetings, no executive decisions, and no grand speeches, just a man resting after a long and demanding legislative session. Adding to the intrigue is the debate surrounding Atchison's legitimacy as president. Critics argue that his term as president, pro tempore, technically ended with the adjournment of the 30th Congress on March 3rd. Without an official extension, they claim there was no acting president pro tempore during the gap. Additionally, Atchison never took the presidential oath of office, a constitutional requirement for assuming the presidency. On the other hand, supporters of Atchison's claim point to the chaotic nature of the era. With no president or vice president in office, Atchison was the logical choice. Even if his presidency was purely symbolic, it highlighted significant flaws in the system of succession. These flaws would eventually be addressed in later amendments to the Constitution, such as the 20th Amendment, which moved inauguration day to January 20th to prevent similar gaps. Atchison's story raises fascinating questions about leadership. What defines a president? Is it the title, the actions taken, or the oath of office? Atchison held the title without fulfilling the duties, challenging conventional notions of what it means to lead. His case forces us to consider the importance of both structure and flexibility in democratic systems. The tale of Atchison's one-day presidency underscores the fragility of democratic processes. It highlights the need for clear rules and guidelines, particularly during transitions of power. While Atchison's presidency might seem trivial, it serves as a case study in the adaptability of American democracy. Even in moments of ambiguity, the system endured. Zachary Taylor's delayed inauguration marked the official end of the 24-hour gap. His presidency, however, was short-lived. Taylor died just 16 months into his term on July 9, 1850, after falling ill. His sudden death reignited debates about presidential succession, further underscoring the importance of clarity in moments of transition. As for David Rice Atchison, he returned to his duties in the Senate and continued to serve Missouri with distinction. Despite the debates and controversies surrounding his brief presidency, Atchison treated the episode with humor and humility. He never sought to capitalize on the title, instead, regarding it as an amusing anecdote. Today, monuments in Missouri commemorate Atchison as the one-day president. His story has become a quirky footnote in American history, a reminder that even the most serious institutions have their lighter moments. And so, the story of David Rice Atchison, the leader who ruled for just one day, comes to a close. Was he truly a president, or was his brief claim to the title merely a historical oddity? Whatever the answer, his story captures the imagination and reminds us of the unpredictability of history. Imagine, one day, one title, one legend. What do you think? Should David Rice Atchison be officially recognized as a U.S. president? Or is this story better left as a fascinating footnote in the chronicles of American democracy? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to share this incredible tale with others who love uncovering the hidden gems of history.